Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today's January 26th, 2016. CNN's headline story for the majority of the day has been a shooting from November 2012. Right now, we are seeing the mainstream media bring stories from the past to the forefront that have to do with police officer shootings of black Americans. And that's exactly what this story is about. If you're new to my channel, I have been showing on my written blog and this channel since 2013 that the media is provoking a race war. And they're doing it with coded stories that always have the same numbers coded into them. And that is true of this story and the many other stories I have covered on my written blog in this video channel. So we're going to break this down. I'm going to show you the numbers coded within, the numbers of the race war that are put on by the Freemasons and Zionists who control our media. Before we do that, though, I just want to go back and revisit this story. It's the shooting of Timothy Russell and Melissa Williams from November 29th, 2012. Let's just read what Wiki has here for it. Two homeless African American individuals occurred in East Cleveland, Ohio on November 29, 2012 at the conclusion of a 22-minute police chase which started in downtown Cleveland. 13 police officers fired at Russell and Williams 137 times while they were in their car at a parking lot of a middle school. In May 2014, one of the officers involved, Michael Brelo, was charged with 2 counts of voluntary manslaughter and was acquitted by a Cuyahoga County judge of the charges on May 23, 2015. 5 police supervisors were also charged with dereliction of duty, a misdemeanor. Their trial is set on July 27th, 2015, so that's already happened. And then here's the update. Today, on January 26, 2016, it was reported by CNN that 6 Cleveland police officers were fired in connection with the 20-mile car chase that ended with officers firing 137 bullets at a car, killing Timothy Russell and Melissa Williams. We'll go over the names of the officers. Right away, what I want you to notice about the day this happened is it's the anniversary date of the Zionist state of Israel, a very special date to these people, the 333rd day of the year. Remember, the Zionist state of Israel was approved by a 33-member vote by the United Nations, November 29th, 1947. The Zionists, they're very ritualistic. This story very likely never happened and is just created propaganda by the numbers. And for people watching, I'm aware that the police wrongfully shoot people all the time, especially black Americans, also Hispanic Americans. That's not my argument. My argument is to show people that the media is purposefully putting propaganda in front of people's eyes to provoke them, and they are doing it by the numbers. Before we break this down, let's also watch the mainstream news coverage.
Many officers in the Cleveland's police union just wrapped up a news conference. What'd they have to say?
They gave the results of a 2-year investigation. They broke things down into 2 different pieces, the pursuit and the shooting. With regard to the pursuit, this is a wide-ranging investigation, very complicated story. 12 supervisors were face administrative charges and 74 officers total on just the pursuit side.
Did you hear them say 74 officers? Remember, Masonic equals 74. It is the Freemasons that control the media as well as the police, and they love to put their numbers in these stories.
Face administrative charges. In the shooting side, Officer Brelo was the only officer that you mentioned in the lead, was the only officer that was ever indicted for this on manslaughter charges. He was acquitted, but 13 officers are facing administrative charges. 6 of them were fired. The union says that the officials who did this investigation sought the answer that they got, that is the firings and that all these officers will get their job back.
This is what's called result-based investigation. Somebody somewhere said, hey, get me to this point. Every single one of them is going to get their jobs back. And you guys out there, the taxpayers of this city, are going to be paying the back pay, and everything else is going to be associated with that.
Now, with regard to the shootings, the individuals who...
Did you just hear that guy? It looked like he had jelly on his chin from the jelly-filled donuts he just got finished scarfing down. But then he makes the point, and all you taxpayers are going to be paying the back pay for these officers. This is why we need to stand up for ourselves as a people. You know? We don't need to be having our money that we earn go and pay for officers who sit on the side of the road and write tickets and don't do a damn thing for any of us. And that goes for a lot of other things. All these stories, aside from being a psyop, part of provoking us on race, they're also always an FU to the people.
Who were not fired face suspensions of between 21 and 30 days. For the pursuit side of it, those individuals who, there was one supervisor who was fired, everybody else is getting demotions, suspensions, letters of re-instruction or letters of reprimand. Just a massive investigation and coming down very hard against many, many officers in the Cleveland Police Force.
All right, so there's the news coverage. Now let's reveal the hoax that is. There's a very obvious reason that it says 137 rounds aimed at Carr. 137 is the 33rd prime number, and 33 is the number of Freemason obsession and also the psychological operations of the race war. There's a lot of 33 in this story. Cleveland, one of the only cities with a 33 gematria in the nation. This story takes place in Cleveland. Police. This is a typo. It should say police, but the word police has a gematria of 33. No coincidence. As I routinely point out, if you go to police stations in smaller towns and cities throughout this nation, the majority of them are across the street from the Freemason Lodge. And that's no coincidence. The Freemasons control the police. Police equals 33, just like Cleveland. As it happens, so does the word fired. This is a story of 6 police officers being fired. 33 has a numerology of 6. 3 plus 3 becomes 6. And also, 33 shows up in almost all of these police shootings of black youth, black adults. I should just say all of them, because off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of one where 33 is not coded in. I can't think of it. Pretty much in all of these stories that we get in the mainstream media, it's always all about 33. Race war equals 33. One of the most classic examples is the Rodney King beating on 3/3, March 3rd. LAPD equals 33, just like police. So the 2 people who died, supposedly, are named Timothy Russell and Melissa Williams. And what I notice about the spelling of Melissa and the name Timothy is they both have gematria of 38, the number of death, making me think these are falsified characters created for their name gematria, something that's often done in these contrived stories. Timothy Russell in simple English gematria sums to 216. The backhanded way of getting to 666, if you multiply 6 times 6 times 6, it equals 216. In Pythagorean gematria, the word officer, the first 3 letters break down to 666. O, the 15th letter. 1 plus 5 becomes 6. F the 6th, F the 6th. That's a possible reason why the number 216 is coded into his name. Not necessarily the reason, just a theory. His initials, TR for Timothy Russell, also gematria of 38, the number of death. Melissa Williams, the way they spell Melissa, notice it has the gematria of 74, like Masonic. They said 74 officers were investigated. Her initials, MW, give us the gematria of 36 as well. When you sum 1 through 36, it totals 666. So both of their names have connections to 666 as well. What also stands out about Russell and Williams is the gematria of 98 and 106. This is where you have to follow my channel to appreciate this kind of coding, but I point out that 98 and 106 often show up together because prophet equals 98, prophecy equals 106. And with regards to prophecy, the date November 29th, 1947 is a date with 106 numerology, and the Zionists, which established their Zionist state of Israel on that date, refer to that as a date of prophecy. Prophecy. being fulfilled by man. And right now, it is a race war prophecy being pursued and achieved through the media by these Masons and these Zionists, a very sick and twisted gang. The officer who had the jelly on his chin, Steve Loomis, gematria of 46 and 64, numbers that are very often coded into police officer names in these shooting hoaxes. Another thing I often point out, makes me wonder if this is even his real name or if this is his actor persona name for when he goes before the mainstream media. The names of the officers, Wilfredo Diaz, interesting name. Probably not a real person. Wilfredo has gematria of 47. Important number to the Masons and Zionists. Again, this shooting came on November 29th, the anniversary date of the Zionist state that was established in the year 47. Another officer, Brian Sabalik, weird last name, gematria of 113, like mainstream, like dishonest, numbers that often get coded into the hoax. Sabalik with Pythagorean gematria also sums to 33, a lot of 33 in this story. Next officer is Aaron O'Donnell, which has gematria of 137, the 33rd prime number, like the number of shots fired. Michael Farley, he has the 64, which we routinely see in officer names. Also 118, the number of death in Jewish gematria. This is a story of killing 2 unarmed people in their car, 2 homeless black people. Chris Ehrig, nothing stands out too much about his name. It has 11 numerology when you break down the gematria. Michael Brillo is the guy who was charged with manslaughter but has had the charges dropped. Notice that Michael Brillo equals 58, like Freemasonry. The story is that he shot into the car 49 times. Show you this up here. 22-minute police chase. And here's Michael Brillo. Brillo allegedly fired 49 of the shots, including 15 from the hood of the car. So get this. The name Michael comes from Revelation in the Bible. And the Masons often use Revelation as the playbook for their coding. Revelation has 22 chapters, like the 22-minute police car chase. Revelation, 22 chapters. The archangel leader of heaven is Michael. Here we have Michael Brillo. And he shot 49 times. In gematria, Revelation equals 49. This is how they create these stories by the numbers. These are some very sick and twisted people. Notice this story comes out of Cuyahoga County, CC, C the third letter, CC 33. I have a playlist on the race war shootings. Please watch them. If you watch 5 of those videos, you probably won't need to watch any more because you're going to see I'm just repeating the same numbers in all of these stories. They're all coded the same way again and again. They're trying to provoke something severe in this nation between race to further their political agenda, which will be more militarized police, more cameras, and who knows what else. Nothing good for us, though. So we got to wake up. That's what's going on in this moment in history. As I said months ago, the Super Bowl would likely be the white Broncos and the black Panthers, all part of the race war symbolism. Today, the story is that the Broncos are going to wear all white and the Panthers are going to wear all black. Got to recognize the symbolism around us and where we're being led to. Until next time.